Hello, my name's Sydney Stevens. I'm a student at Michigan State University. I'm majoring in advertising and journalism with a minor in photojournalism and then just a focus in copywriting. And I'm just here today to share some of my advice and things that I've learned when it comes to student portfolios and just some things that my professors have passed down. In no way is this like the only way to do a portfolio. There are multiple ways to do a portfolio and get hired, I'm sure. This is just what I've been told and what I've been trying to apply to my own portfolio. So take what you find useful and leave behind what you don't. But here we go. So the first question that I have written down is what are agencies looking for in a student portfolio? And I think that the very obvious answer is your work. A lot of people say, how much work should I have in my portfolio? I've heard as little as 5 and as much as 12. Obviously, you don't want to sacrifice quality for quantity. It's more important that you have high quality work that's been refined and really, that just really demonstrates what you can do. So if you only have 6 pieces that are really high quality and demonstrate your ability, then, I would leave it like that. I wouldn't add rough work or rough drafts in there. I would just really keep it to what you feel proud of. I've also heard of agencies that are interested in passion projects. For example, if you're a copywriter, you could do a screenplay. One of my art director friends does album covers out of Play-Doh, and actually the Play-Doh album covers alone got him his first internship at FCB. His name's Nolan Wall. I have an episode with him on my podcast, Breaking at MSU, and he kind of explains that whole process of how he got started with the album covers, how he got connected to Susan Cradle at FCB, and then, from there, how he got a job. But I think it's important to have a passion project because it shows a little bit of who you are beyond your work in the classroom. And obviously that's really important. And also, I think that if you're a creative going into the industry, agencies want to know that you're a creative human being and you're not just creative for your job, but you're creative outside of your job and you just enjoy that side of the world. Next thing I have is, should we have AI in our portfolio? AI is this developing technology that's becoming more present within the industry, and a lot of students are worried about whether or not it's necessary to have mock-ups demonstrating that students can work with AI. And I think that if you have the resources to create something in AI, I think that it is important to have in your portfolio just because that's the way the industry's going. But I think this also applies to anything digital. I mean, we're living in a digital era. It's more important to have digital work than print work. So, do digital work, do work with AI, obviously do what you can. If you don't have access to AI, then I don't think it's the end all be all, but I think that it's important to, if you do it. If you don't. And that kind of goes into the next question, what are the next important mediums that students should be creating in? Digital, print, out of home, etc. I think that anything digital, social media, video is important. I think that, yes, you can have print, especially as a copywriter. One of the easiest way to show your abilities is to do a print ad with long body copy, even though these aren't used in the industry anymore. They're hardly used, very rarely used. If you have one piece in there that just demonstrates your ability to write, I think that's good. I mean, at the end of the day, these recruiters and creative directors and people going through your portfolio, they just want to know that you can do the job that they'll be hiring you for. So if you have like all digital and then like one long print ad, I think that's okay. You could maybe even have 2 long print ads. But I would really, really try to keep it, digital and online and everything, and big ideas out of home, all of that stuff. Another thing for copywriters is I hear a lot of my classmates ask if they can have scripts in their portfolio. Like, do I have to make a video for every script I do? And I've heard people say, oh my gosh, absolutely, or absolutely not. So I don't really know what the correct answer is there. I'm sure every agency is a little bit different. But what I would recommend you doing is if you are going to do a script, probably don't do more than 2 scripts. And with each of those scripts, I would do a storyboard with it, maybe even a director's treatment. But definitely have a storyboard with your script. And that's another opportunity for copywriters to demonstrate that they can use AI. You can use AI to develop a storyboard so that every photo has the same characters and the same look rather than just going on Google and getting like random stock images. I think that would be really good. And then I hear a lot of like, oh, what brand should students have in their portfolio? Big brands, small brands, can you create your own brands? And my answer to that is pretty much all of my professors have said that agencies want to see brands that they know. I mean, they're looking at hundreds of portfolios, so they don't want to spend time learning about a brand just to understand the work. Just, do McDonald's, do Apple. I did have one creative director actually say never do Nike because it'll make you look bad. And I don't know if he was joking. He seemed pretty serious though. So that's just, food for thought. If you are thinking about doing Nike, maybe do, dare I say, Under Armour or like Adidas or something, just because it is pretty difficult to do a Nike ad that is similar quality to the ones that are out there. That's not me saying it can't be done. It absolutely can be done because eventually, they're going to need to hire people, younger people to work on Nike, and you could absolutely be that person. So don't let me discourage you, but that's just something that I've heard. He was a CCO out on the West Coast and he said, don't do Nike. But of course, I'm not your mom. If you want to do Nike, you can do Nike. Another question I hear art directors ask is like whether or not UX design or animated mockups are necessary in their portfolio. And I just think the more you can do and the more you can showcase, the more you can show that you're multidisciplinary in mediums and like software like Adobe and stuff. People ask like, what software should art directors be proficient in? And I think as much as you can be. I know Adobe is industry standard. So Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop. And for copywriters, I hear a lot of copywriters who have graduated go on into the industry and say, oh, I didn't know that I'd have to be like editing videos and everything. So I think that it's important for both copywriters and art directors to be familiar with Adobe, Premiere, maybe Audition. I don't hear a lot of people having to use Audition, but if you can use it, that's a big plus. I don't hear about many agencies using Canva, but I mean, if you know it, it's not going to hurt you. If you don't know it, maybe it will. I don't know. But I know Adobe is definitely the biggest one. And then a lot of my professors are saying AI is up and coming. So if you have the resources and the time to experiment with it, then I would recommend doing so. Okay, and then the last question that I'll be answering is for like management, strategy, planning, non-creative students essentially. And this is something that's not really talked about at my university, but I think it's worth mentioning here. Is like, should non-creative students have a portfolio? And what I've heard from Gino and other people in the industry is that they should. And then, like obviously what should be in it. And I think that case studies are great to have in these, and just how you solve those case studies. Just work that shows how you think, how you plan. Maybe you've been president for your club at university or vice president or something like that. You can, include that in there and just show your thought process. And yeah, so I hope that somebody found this useful. I hope that there was good advice within this episode. And good luck building your portfolio.